All right, so it's the Timberwolves. See, the thing with the Timberwolves when I looked at their roster, first off was I'm guessing they're probably going to play like the Wizards did last year, where they're just running, trying to outscore people. They added Rubio, Edwards, and then re-signed Beasley. That was their big offseason acquisitions. Um,
Did that make sense to you? We signing Beasley.
I mean, I just think they just need the talent. You know, they just couldn't lose the talent. Like I didn't understand Sacramento letting Boyan go because you can't afford when you're in a market like that, you can't afford to just let
Right,
talent walk out the door. Like no one's running to resign for you. So
right.
um this season to me is all
But they had
cat and loading. Like, there's this fear that I hear on a lot of the NBA podcasts that this is a big year for the Wolves because they have to show Cat that they can win or he's going to demand a trade. But the truth of the matter is, like, he hasn't shown that he's good enough to be worried about him demanding a trade, just in my opinion. Like, he hasn't won it. He hasn't come close to being to the playoffs except that one year with Jimmy Butler. There was that stretch where even me, got caught up in this hype when he first started, and like there was like this is a real thing that happened, that people said that Cat was better than Anthony Davis. Like that's a real thing that happened that a lot of people were saying. I didn't think he was better than Anthony Davis, but I said I would start my team with Cat over Anthony Davis because that's back when Anthony Davis was getting hurt all the time. But that's a real
look,
thing.
I feel the season that kid is about to have, man. He lost both his parents this past year due to Corona. I think Cat about to have that type of season where we put him back where we thought he was supposed to be. Like I honestly feel Cat about to blow up this season.
Blow up. So blow up like what? Like top 10 player blow up? Like what are you saying
Yeah,
blow up?
I think Cat's gonna blow up. He's gonna go from not just being the best offensive big in the game. Like he's the best. Like you look at his shooting splits, you look at how he scores, you look at what he's his whole bag. Like he's the best offensive big in the game.
Yeah.
But now he's gonna have that impact where all of that's gonna translate to winning. Like he's gonna have that impact on both ends. Watch like defensively. Well, he's gonna have a year. He's gonna have that season where everybody talk about him differently.
So when I looked at them and hopefully that is like, once again, like you mentioned, he lost both of his parents to COVID. Yeah, I mean that's just tragic and prayers out to him. That's tough, man.
Whew.
But when I looked at the team, just as a team wise, I wondered what they would do at that four hole. Would they go four guards? Because, they got the Culver kid. They have Beasley. I think Anthony Edwards has to start. You have to start Anthony Edwards. You have to start Rubio. You have to start deloading. So who's that fourth player? They were starting Juan Gomez,
Yeah,
Juancho.
I think he's gonna start at the four.
Yeah, they'd probably start him at the four, but you have that Culver kid. Culver was like a top 7 pick. And I
Yeah,
watched him.
he trash.
I watched him, and he's stiff. He gets downhill, but he's stiff, like shooting
He
jumpers.
trash.
He doesn't really look like he has an offensive game. Like he seems like destined to be like a defensive guard. But the thing about this league,
Man, what they buried him, bro. Like with the off season, they so you basically playing. These are the players you got playing your two and your three. Russell, Edwards, and then Beasley. So that's your 30 million dollar player, your $20 million player, and the player you just took number one overall in the draft.
mm-hmm,
Those three players are going to occupy all your time like a two and a three. They're all going to play 30 minutes.
mm-hmm,
Rubio's going to play 30 minutes. And then you're going to also have, and then they got to play on Kobe because he's the only one that can guard on their team. So that's like That's another player that's in front of Culver. When do he even I don't know when he's gonna get to play.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I live
I
for
I
him.
don't know.
I'm probably somebody on that chart too.
That's another team that's primed for a trade. Um, just with the picks that they have, I think this is going to be a good year for like taking on salaries. For
Hey, bro, I'm rooting for D'Lo and Cat to have this. They look at what everybody else is doing and they want to click up and play together. And people
Mhm.
looking at them like, what you sorry niggas doing? You know, like, I ain't put together.
Y'all too sorry to be talking about y'all gonna click up and play together, but
Like, what you niggas doing all this?
y'all too sorry to be saying. But the thing about both of them is,
Y'all building a what? Got D-Lo over there. Them boys crazy.
but
That's
the
how they gonna be used to.
but the thing about
But
them is that they both are high pedigree guys. You know, number one overall pick, number two overall pick. They both have flashed. So
I'm rooting for them, man, because
yeah, I'm rooting for them.
everybody's laughing at them. So I'm
Everybody
rooting for
laughs
them,
at
man.
them. It's true.
They,
And
bro,
but
they got talent. All of a sudden, they got talent. Russell, Edwards, Rubio, Beasley,
Beasley, yeah,
Cat, Wancho. They got talent now.
yeah, and I think for a team like them, and I gotta make sure of this if I look at the trade machine, a team like them, I think for the small market teams, the advantage for them to set themselves up down the line is there's going to be a lot of owners that are trying to get off salary, and like I mentioned, re-signing Beasley. If you're a small market team, you know you're not going to get the talent in. You know people are not coming there rushing to sign with you, so I think they need to be aggressive and try to get any distressed asset off the market. Anybody that wants to take on salary, they have to think long term. Like maybe this is a chance for us to rebuild the team. There's also the cloud hanging over the head that the team, the owner, is trying to sell the team. I think like this is like third row stuff, but I think that they're like probably like a prime candidate to go to Seattle. Everybody's mentioning the team that could move, you know, because they're in the Western Conference, but they're the furthest team out east in the Western Conference. Their attendance is up and down. It's not like they have a great tradition in Minnesota. So I think that they're a prime candidate to move to Seattle as well. But that's like not even talking about the season. But like I said, it's a time. It's time for Cat and for Loden to step up. Like they both wanted to trade, like you said, to play together. Um, with what's his name, Murray, the way that he like jumped into that elite tier um, before this playoffs, I don't think you would put him that far ahead of Russell, if ahead of Russell at all, like um, as a player. So there's a jump there that players can get to. So I don't know, maybe Russell takes it on himself to do that. And if he does, I mean, I think he has the skills to be just as good, if not better, than Murray offensively. I think he's a better passer naturally than Murray, and I do like Rubio taking the ball out of his hands a little bit, so that he just focuses on scoring. Like Rubio's like a set the table type guy. I think like too many times when I watch them play, like Loden, he kind of drifts a little bit like Harden, but he doesn't have that level that he can kick his offense into gear and like drive past people. So I think someone's setting the table so where he's not constantly the ball guy bringing up the ball. I think that's probably going to help unleash him a little bit too. Did you watch any of Edwards at all? I know that you like watch.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I
Like,
watched him.
what'd you think
I
about him?
mean, when he's on, he's on. Like he looks like a Victor Oladipo, Dion Waiters type. Just like a really compact, physically just stronger and faster, and he can like when the jumper is going. When you know how it is, he's one of those guys who got that quick first step. Boom, get to the hole with ease. When he got a whole bag though. Like he got an offensive package, man. Like he got a whole nice game. Like at his peak, he's gonna be like a Victor Oladipo. Like he's gonna be a solid 24 game guard, two way type player. He's gonna be nice. But that's if everything hits. He has a lot. We don't know. Like we don't know. His desire has been questioned. So
I also like
I
that
hate when they do
Jake
that.
Jake Layman character that they got.
Oh, the one who can play for Portland.
Yeah, he
Right, right, right.
he has some friskiness to him. He got some bounce to him. I wouldn't be surprised if he develops into a solid shooter, like a
Right,
solid
right,
role
right.
player off the bench. So I like that signing for them. Um, it would be nice if Culver turns into something. Like the thing about it is, like I watched him. I thought he was stiff, but he definitely can drive. He just doesn't look like he can shoot at all. Like when he shoots, it's like just robotic. One of the most robotic shots I've seen in a while. But the thing about the league is like I remember during the draft time with Edwards, people were questioning his motivation in the NBA because he says he doesn't even really watch baseball like he's like a football guy. But the thing with the league, man, there's just so much money in it. And I think that the players see and like players like it's cool to post your off-season workouts on YouTube and on Instagram. So I think
Mhm.
like players are working like they haven't before. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in and his game is improved because it's been like it's been over a year. It's gonna be almost a year since they played. So I
Yeah,
mean,
they're gonna be a clean rookie class. Like a lot of people are expecting them to not be a clean class. Like a lot of people weren't excited about this class. They didn't necessarily like these rookies. So, but I think that this is gonna be a solid like role player draft, and these rookies are gonna be better than people expect because they've been working out with pro trainers for at least a year.
yeah,
So they're
yeah.
gonna be ready.
I think a lot of that is like laziness. Like I remember the Oladipo draft. They told me they didn't really like nobody in that draft. And you had Oladipo, you have Giannis, you have all these other players that came out of that draft. It's just like like
Giannis
I
went
said,
13th.
yeah. It's just like I said before, like the league now, like the players, and I think LeBron. People have talked about it. Like he's ushered in this new area where it's just like everybody understands all the opportunities that basketball can give you. So even if you really don't love it, you love everything that you get from it. And like it's cool to work hard. It's cool to work on your game. And like you seeing like a Murray and Donovan Mitchell, number 14 pick, just like explode. So like I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But say if Cat did want to trade and he wanted to get traded, like where do you see have you ever thought of like what team like he fits for?
Oh man, I'll be here embarrass himself if he gets up.
If he asks
He'll
for a
embarrass
trade?
himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. They have the
I don't know. Maybe you look at a team like New Orleans. They would like want to put him next to Zion
mm,
or trade Brandon Ingram. You know,
mm.
they got a lot of picks too. Or you should look at a team like Oklahoma, a team that won't get a player like Karl Anthony Towns
Mhm.
and free agent. Like yeah, I can see those teams trading for him. Yeah, definitely. Those teams already have a lot of picks. They can trade for him.
A
They'll be a
team
market. He's,
that
he's the
that's
best. He's the best offensive big in the game.
because I was thinking like obviously Harden has to okay it, but that would be a great Harden spot too. Minnesota. To put him with Cat, but I mean he obviously for what you would have to trade to get him, that'll probably leave your team bare because I'm sure they're gonna want Edwards in the package, and then Loden, and then probably some other, and all those picks, it'll be hard to put a team together. That's just the hardest trade in the league for me to kind of figure it out when I was looking at it, where to put Harden if it's not going to be the Sixers. But that he would agree that's a contender. There's a lot of places that fit him. Like, I don't know if you saw the Pelicans got mentioned for Harden on Zach Lowe for Ingram. And that makes sense to me. Ingram and a whole bunch of picks. But is he going to accept that? And with Minnesota, for who they would possibly trade for, I don't know. It depends if they're committed to playing him at 5, because that's another team I was looking for. I've been looking for a Blake Griffin trade. I looked at them. I looked at Memphis, but I forgot Memphis had Brandon Clark. I was thinking maybe you could put Blake at the 4 with Triple J at the 5. But
Man, Valanciunas is too good. Like Valanciunas has quietly become like very, very, very good. Like
yes,
good, good.
like he shoots threes and like
Like
offensively.
Valanciunas is like he is good. Like he's a
Yeah,
good player. Like,
yeah,
he's top 50 player in the league. Good now. So
yeah,
it'd
yeah,
be hard for them to get off of Valanciunas, man.
yeah, definitely. No, it's just I've just been looking for a spot for him, and that was Minnesota was a team as well, but um, I don't know to
Portland.
make the contract to make the you can't make the contracts work without trading Beasley or Beasley and
I
Rubio.
mean, what about Portland though?
Um, Portland, I don't know. You would have to trade too much. You would have to trade. You would have to trade.
You gotta trade CJ. You gotta break it up, man.
Yeah, you'd have to trade CJ, and I don't think that they're ready to do all that. Like Dame Lillard wants to do it in a particular way, and I think Dame Lillard probably has more cachet with ownership there than any star probably in the league. Ownership and the fan base combined. Like if I don't think he would be happy with it. So
Ooh, imagine waking up and getting that low bomb that David Leonard has requested a trade.
yeah, like
What?
that would never happen. Yeah,
What?
yeah, he's not going to do it. So it's just like I don't think that they would go and
What's the market for Dame, bro? What's the market? Like,
I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to trade these
he's a
players
point
now.
guard. He's a point guard. So it's like, shit.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing about it is, and going back to Minnesota is, I mean, I think he could like Minnesota. They have Rubio, and I think he's a fine player, but that's also a position that can be upgraded for them too. Like I've been looking for a possible destination for John Wall if they're thinking about like hopscotching them, because I don't think Houston is like if they found a trade would say no, we can't part with John Wall. That's also a place that I thought maybe he could go is in a package. You put Beasley, put Rubio contract together, and maybe get something from Houston to take on the salary. Then that makes sense. So I think Minnesota's going to try to win. Like we talked about this last year when we talked in the chat about the West. Like I think every team in the West thinks that they're a playoff team for sure, or they have a path to the playoffs. And I think, like, especially in a year like this where a lot of owners, they talked about Fertitta in Houston, like he just took his private company public because he was losing so much money and he needed a cash influx. With so many owners, I think it's going to be tight for cash. I think this might be a year
Man,
for some
why is that bro nigga man? Why they do that to that fan base, man? It's crazy. This nigga, he's doing trades and just moving money. He's like, okay, what this nigga he just traded first to buy a second. What the? Everything he doing is money related, my nigga. Like it's
Yeah,
always
it is.
related. Like,
It is. I
yeah,
don't know.
it's
It's tight. I
trash,
mean,
man.
I don't know.
What is trash? Oh,
The thing is like no one could have predicted this pandemic, like the way that it's affected. I mean, we and you have talked about the way that it's affected you. It's just like it's just because his business is casinos. Nobody's going to casinos and restaurants. Nobody's going to restaurants. So it's just like
he's been hit.
He's been hit hard, you know.
It's gonna hit the hardest. So
Yeah,
the last thing this nigga trying to do is pay luxury tax on
yeah.
the team.
That's the last thing you do.
He's not building a sentence.
Yeah, yeah. So
he's,
like,
he's, he's about to be paying the minimum.
yeah. So
Like,
like,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they end up trading Harden, that they end up moving on John Wall and trading him away too, and see if they can get like a little bit of a salary break for it. Um,
I
because
don't think there's any team they can trade John Wall.
no,
I think that's
like I said, Minnesota might be a team
uh,
because you would have to be if John Wall comes out and he looks good, and they say that he looks good in these training videos we'll see, and I mean, look,
You got Minnesota has Russell and Edwards.
mm-hmm.
Your prime free agent trade target. The player you gave up so much to get. They traded 2 lottery picks
No, I'm not saying
and
that
Andrew
Russell.
Wiggins
I'm not
for
saying that.
Russell.
I don't think they can trade Russell from. I don't think. Can you make the salaries work? Hold on. Let me see if I can make the salary work. I think you can make the salary work.
No, but how? Well, but so why would you have Wall, Russell? Russell gotta be our lead ball handler.
Oh,
If he
you
not,
okay? Okay.
and he gotta play with like Russell and Rubio's a good match,
Yeah, it is. It is a good match.
man. That's a good match.
Yeah, it is.
Rubio is perfect for him.
Yeah. No, it is a
Perfect.
good match, and no, I was just saying if they feel like going for it, who would be their options to where would be the position that you would fit it in because it's hard. Like the more you look at the league, the position
So
that matters.
that team, they'll be like getting a star 3-4, like a wing or a star 4.
But the thing about it is, star 3-4 is how many of them are even available. That's the thing. Is just
Yeah,
like
so that's the thing. There's no trade. Like
there's no
Minnesota's not trading. Nah, they know John Wall trade. Even if he's playing well, no trade.
because like
I think no team.
I was asking Eric today about a trade for Harden, and I said
Oh
Brown.
yeah, if I'm Boston, yeah, you better you should do it.
You would do
You
Brown
should
and Smart
do it.
in some ones for
You
him.
should do it, bro.
Yeah.
Brown, Smart, and some and one for Harden is a trade where everybody wins.
Mm.
The cheap owner in Houston gets a star and Brown that he can play get behind and act like he want to pay and improve the team and shit. Uh,
All right, so we coming up against it. What do you, as far as playoffs, where you actually before we even do that, your most impactful player on the team? Who do you think is the most impactful player?
Karl Anthony. I think he's about to have a special season. Special.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, and I was gonna go with him, but I'm gonna go with D'Angelo Russell. Like I think he can have, if his mind is right, seeing what Murray did to step up his game. Because one thing that was underrated with Murray is that he changed his body. Like he added on weight and size. Um,
I've read a lot this offseason out of Minnesota. Like a lot of like he's from Louisville,
uh-huh.
so he likes how Minnesota feels like a small town. He's
Okay.
not a big city guy. He's happy to be somewhere that's just calm. He goes to the grocery store, goes to the movie, nobody bothers him.
Loves him. Mm.
He like that. He like that. So Cat, Loading, this is what they want, man. They clicked up. They found their way together. This is what they want, man. I'm rooting for them.
So, I'm gonna go with Loden. Who's your most intriguing player?
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
I want to see what he's gonna bring to the league.
yeah, yeah.
But
I since you said him, I'm gonna go Culver. Like I said, I watched like 30 minutes of him before we did this And like there's this, I mean, YouTube now, almost every player has like a highlight package reel that you can watch.
Right.
I watched his, and especially towards the end of the season. I mean, he's nifty with the ball. He can get downhill.
Yeah,
He can
he look exciting.
yeah, he's just
If you watch him in like some highlights, you like,
yeah.
man, this guy look like. Yeah, you're thinking he looking like the next best wing or something.
Yeah, like he looks like, you know, he gets downhill. He has a
His
lot of
highlights
jump.
look good. His
Yeah.
highlights look good.
So, but like you just see the jumper, and like every once in a while, the highlight will be him making the three, and it's just like it takes him forever to get it up. His legs are together, like his form is just one of the worst forms I've seen recently. Usually, I mean, 'cause especially nowadays, like you know, you teaching the kids, like I'm teaching my son how to play basketball, like. I don't want that. There's no way he's gonna have this weird form shooting the ball. Um, so it's just like especially now with the AAA and all this other stuff, you would think that AAU, excuse me, you would think that everybody would be like sound, but like his jumper is just weird. But I would say him because if he ends up splashing, if he ends up being that type of player, then they're on. Then they have like 8, 9 legitimate NBA players with a young coach who's going to be flexible, who's going to be willing to push, and a smart point guard in Rubio. So, so the prediction on the team as far as the season wise, playoffs or not. So you already put the Warriors in. That's one spot.
People, man, I can see it going all the way good for them. 'Cause Cat, D'Lo, and Edwards, that's a lot of high end talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's two. That's two number one picks and a number two pick.
Right, that's some high end talent.
And Culver
So
like
I'm
a
gonna
number
go,
five pick.
man. I would, uh, man, it's so tough in the West. I'm trying to see like Tennessee get to be in the play in, right?
Yeah, the 10 seed gets to play on.
Yeah, they might be a 10 seed.
See the thing for
Put
me.
them down for 10.
Yeah, you see the thing for me is like this is probably one of the worst years to do playoff predictions because of the COVID. You know, like they're another team. If Cat gets COVID for 2 weeks, if Russell gets COVID for 2 weeks, it's a wrap for them. So right now, I'm gonna say no, but I think they're a prime trade target. Like I said, I think the small market teams, you would be smart to try to take advantage this year while everybody's trying to sell assets to get hold of some assets with longer contracts. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to make a trade. But I'm gonna say no, and that was a bill. So that was the Timberwolves 30 minutes. Subscribe if you like it. We're gonna do every NBA team. Obi, thanks for staying up.
Let's do two tomorrow.
All right, for sure, bro.
All right.
All right.
All right, my boy.